terms of overall diets, what would you think is good? Like you said, pescatarian or Mediterranean.
No, I don't think Mediterranean. I think there's nothing wrong with the Mediterranean, but if you look at the meta-analysis of the Mediterranean, the facts on mortality are small. I think cancer is about 6% lower. I think neurodegenerative disease is the highest one with about 13% difference. Compared to all kinds of controlled diets. So I don't think the Mediterranean diet goes far enough, but the Mediterranean diet, if somebody sticks with, it also depends one Mediterranean diet we're talking about, right? But let's say a very sort of severe one that is being used by some of the studies that can be very beneficial. But I don't think it's going to get anywhere near what we're talking about here.
Okay. So, I mean, in diet in general as well, what about protein? What kind of percentage protein do you think should make up the calories?
Yeah, so this is based on our own epidemiological studies, both our own and then those that we did with Harvard, and so it looks like it should be about 0.7, 0.8. So let's put it in pounds. 0.32, I think, to 0.37 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So if somebody weighs 100 pounds, there should be, let's say, at least 40 grams of protein, 40, 45. And if somebody weighs 150 pounds, now that could go to 65 grams. And there should be pescatarian, so fish, let's say a couple times a week, plus vegan. But watching lean body mass. So it's good, say once a year, go see somebody that can do phase angle measurement and lean body mass measurements. Make sure that you're not, accumulating fat and losing muscle. And in which case, then that level, I mean, not just the level, because the vegans, about 20-30% of the vegans can be malnourished at the amino acid level. They could have fairly high levels of proteins, but the amino acid composition, especially in the legumes, can be deficient in a variety of amino acids, and so so those populations tend to be at least part of the vegans tend to be malnourished for protein. So and there's a study that just came out showing hip fractures going up about almost 2.5-fold in vegans compared to or at least the risk for hip fractures 2.5-fold in vegans compared to the meat eaters, just to give you an example. But the pescatarian, not the case at all. Small changes in I think one type of fracture, and in most cases there was a trend for lower fractures in the pescatarian group compared to the meat eaters.
Interesting. So I'd like to switch to exercise very quickly. So what kind of exercise is best, like for longevity? I guess like resistance or cardio?
Yeah, again, I think the best is the one you can do and you can keep. And again, that's another danger zone when somebody does something for a month and they stop for 3 months and then do it again. That could be worse than not doing it at all. So I think 150 minutes a week from the meta-analysis seems to be ideal of exercise, and maybe 10% of that, maybe 15 minutes a week should be pushing yourself. And then on top of that, I put about an hour of walking a day. Walking also means do stairs, don't take the elevator. I mean, try to do everything like it used to be, and not just. It's really remarkable. Even here at the university, everybody's got some type of wheels. Nobody walks anymore. It's almost like even the basic like 1 minute walk is avoided because it's better to be on a bike, on a skateboard, or something like it. So it's really remarkable the damage that we do by just not being functional and active and functional.
Yes. So would I mean, in terms of the pushing, would that change during a diet, during a fasting period or an FMT period?
Yeah, fasting, the FMD should be done, let's say, 3 times a year on average in the US. So yeah, for those 15 days, no need to do exercise. You can walk, you can be active, but I would just stay away from anything that could be dangerous, including running, including swimming, including lots of things that biking, that lots of things that could put you in a situation where you could fall.
Oh, okay. Yes, right. So would you be able to share what your personal protocol is? You talked a little bit about your diet, but anything, I guess, any expansion on that? I mean, what kind of exercise do you do?
Yeah, so the expansion is in my book, The Longevity Diet,
Okay.
and all the part that goes to me actually goes to the foundation and the foundation clinic. So it's all going to charity. But I follow everything that I just said. Maybe too much. Some people argue, but yeah. So I do 12 hours. I do the pescatarian diet. I have the breakfast that I described. I skip the lunch when I replace the lunch with a small snack when I tend to gain weight. I have lots of legumes, but I have fish 2 or 3 times a week. I have low mercury fish and lots of at least salmon once or twice a week, and sardines and anchovies, etc. And I do an hour of biking either on the road or at home. I have a bike that has makes it difficult for me to pedal, and I do that every other day, very religiously. And while I'm doing my meetings, my calls, and lots of things, and I think it's an advice that I always give people, because I would say 90% of people eventually will have an excuse to stop running, will have an excuse to stop doing whatever sport they're doing. And but I never had an excuse to not be able to do the 1 hour of the bike at home. So it's much less likely, I think, that you find that. I mean, of course, I'm not happy necessarily when I have to do every other day the 1 hour of bicycle, but it's there, and it's just hard to find an excuse not to do it. So yeah, and the other thing I think is walking. And I always think of restaurants and coffee shops that are maybe 15 minutes away. Most people think what's nearby. I think what's the furthest away that I can go, and then once you get used to it, then it becomes a routine, and that gives you the 1 hour of walking per day.
Right. Excellent. Yes. And the weather.
And then physical, and then muscle, right? So push-ups and maybe some weights, and some of the training, the muscular training that is there to keep you your lean body mass functional and at the right level.
Okay, excellent. So can you tell people where they can find more information about your current work and kind of follow what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the book has most of the information of up to a couple of years ago. The Longevity Diet is the name of the book. And then I have a Facebook, Professor Longo. I forget what it is. Just search Professor Longo, Valter Longo on Facebook. It's easy enough. And then we have a foundation. It's called createcures.org. And lots of the papers, et cetera, are posted. And we tend to, also post papers and studies that we think are interesting. So those are the sites where I would go to.
Okay, so Dr. Longo, thank you so much for joining us today and for all the work that you do. So we will continue to follow it definitely on this channel.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.